This afternoon, I want to assure you of two things. I am concerned about this case. I can promise that the Department of Justice will consider all available information before determining what action to take. It's time to question laws that senselessly expand the concept of self-defense and sow dangerous conflict in our neighborhoods. We must stand our ground to ensure that our laws reduce violence and take a hard look at laws that contribute to more violence than they prevent.
I'm not sure I've ever accused the Attorney General of deftness, but he sure did this well, I think. The pressure on him from the people who spoke to and from outside activists, from a lot of politicians, is to do something to pursue a George Zimmerman through some kind of federal action, either on hate crimes or on the violation of civil rights. I think Holder knows this is a losing proposition, and surely if he tried, he would lose and probably be humiliated. So what he did, rather deftly, I think, is to punt and deflect that issue to another issue, the issue of law. And I think there is an argument that we can have in the country over the wisdom of the stand your ground law. But as you indicated, it didn't have any important, even minimal part to play in the Zimmerman trial. But it is an issue that initially was raised and could plausibly, you could link to what had happened. So what I think he wants to do is to have a debate on an irrelevance, although it is an interesting and important debate. Do you want to put a burden on a person who's in a situation where somebody is about to attack him, where he has to calculate, am I safer if I flee or if I attack the person who's attacking me? But that law, I think, is one that we can have a debate on. I think he's smart in deflecting the issue over onto that and away from the persecution, the continued persecution of George Zimmerman. What I like about what Holder has done is if you make it about the laws, about stand your ground, you've taken it out of the realm of racial conflict, which is, I think, what the country needs. The case is over, as the president himself has said, a jury has spoken. The case of this guy in this incident is over. So I think it's a public service what he did. You know, I'm not sure it's the most important law in the world that we have to debate right now, but it is what the administration generally does. It punts. It hopes that when the issue is resolved, when it decides it's not going to pursue this, that the temperature in the will have gone.
You're praising the Attorney General. I should note that this is, I think, 3 times in a row that you've been praising the administration.
Right.
And we just need to mark these moments.
Right. Once more, and I go into rehab.
Perhaps the most telling signs of the incomplete state of the Benghazi investigation is the fact that not one of the survivors of the Benghazi attack, from the consulate or the annex, have publicly testified before Congress. Despite nearly a full year of multiple committee investigations, not one witness has been brought before the committee to publicly testify under oath about what happened that night. Instead of learning the details of the attack and the U.S. response in public hearings, the American people may instead read about it in one of the books that have been announced in recent weeks.
It is complex because there are sets of rules and procedures within the Foreign Service about disciplining people. It is my clear understanding that this entire issue is at the Secretary of State's level, that he is getting recommendations on how to deal with this, and he will finally make the decision on what is going to be the outcome with the 4 people there.
So they're still getting paid and they're still on board.
Look, this has to do with very complicated and protective civil service laws that make it almost impossible to get anybody fired or demoted, and that happens across the board. The major stonewall is about information. We haven't gotten anything out of the White House, the State Department. The media aren't interested, and the Democrats in the House and the Senate aren't interested either. So against all that, I think the Speaker's strategy is one scandal at a time. He's going to do IRS tomorrow and work behind the scenes on Benghazi. Hopefully they're going to get some kind of major testimony that will shift public opinion on this.
This has been a Sunfish production.